Amir was a quiet boy. He lived in a small town with his mother Farah. They lived in a little yellow house at the end of a street lined with old trees. The house was not big, but Amir loved it because of the garden his mother had grown. There were small flowers of different colors, and a little swing hung from the oldest tree. Every morning, Amir would sit on the swing and watch the birds. He liked the peaceful sounds of the morning, the songs of the birds, and the smell of fresh grass. But lately, Amir had not felt like himself. He was tired all the time, even after sleeping the whole night. His hands sometimes shook when he tried to pick up his books. During school, he felt dizzy, and he had trouble keeping up with lessons. He wanted to tell someone, but he was always brushed aside. Teachers thought he was just not paying attention. Classmates thought he was being lazy, and even his mother said he needed more sleep. Amir felt invisible. School was a large building with bright windows and colorful walls. Children ran around in the morning, laughing and shouting. Amir walked quietly, holding his books close to his chest. He tried to smile, but it often felt forced. In the classroom, the teacher, Mrs. Ahmed, called his name sometimes. But when he could not answer quickly, she frowned. She thought Amir was careless, but she did not know the truth. He wanted to tell her that he felt weak, that sometimes he could barely focus. But the words got stuck in his throat. During lunch, Amir usually sat alone. He opened his lunchbox slowly and took small bites. He watched other children talking and laughing with their friends. They did not notice him. They did not see that he struggled to hold his fork because his hands shook. He did not want attention, but he wished someone would ask if he was okay. Rosa worked in the school cafeteria. She was a kind woman who always smiled at the children. Her skin was dark, and her hair was tied in a neat bun. She noticed the small things. She saw children who forgot their water bottles or lost their books. She saw those who looked sad or lonely. And she noticed Amir. Rosa had been working at the school for many years. She knew most of the students by name, and she knew how they usually behaved. Amir was always quiet, but now he seemed different. He looked tired. His face was pale, and sometimes he leaned on the table as if he could not hold himself up. Rosa felt a little worry in her heart. She had seen children pretend to be fine, but Amir did not seem like he was pretending. One day, Rosa was cleaning tables when she saw Amir sit down slowly with his tray. His hands trembled slightly as he picked up a spoon. She asked gently, "Amir, are you feeling okay today?" Amir looked up and nodded quickly, not wanting to cause trouble. Rosa noticed the quick nod and the small tremble in his hands. She could tell he was trying to hide something. She smiled warmly and said, "It is okay. You do not have to hurry. Take your time." Amir smiled faintly. It was the first time someone had spoken to him kindly about how he felt. Other children laughed loudly nearby, not paying attention. But Rosa stayed, quietly watching him. The next day, Rosa noticed him again. He ate very little. His eyes looked heavy, and he seemed to struggle to sit up straight. Rosa decided to take small steps. She walked over and placed a small cup of warm milk on his table. "Drink this slowly," she said softly. "It will make you feel better." Amir looked at her, surprised. No one had ever done this for him. He sipped slowly. The warmth of the milk comforted him in a way he could not explain. Rosa sat nearby, quietly folding her hands on the table. She did not rush him or ask too many questions. She simply waited, letting him feel safe later. When the lunch period ended, Rosa spoke to the school nurse, Ms. Latif. She explained what she had noticed about Amir. The nurse was polite but slightly surprised. "Are you sure? He never mentioned any problems." Rosa nodded. "I know. Children often hide things because they think adults will not understand. I just want him to be checked. He looks weak and tired. I do not want to ignore this." The nurse agreed to observe Amir that afternoon. Rosa felt relieved. She had done what she could, and now someone else would pay attention. Over the next few days, Rosa continued to watch Amir quietly. She noticed small things. He often rubbed his eyes as if they were tired. He sometimes walked slowly between classes. His hands sometimes shook when he lifted a book or a pen. Rosa recorded these small observations in her mind. She was determined not to let anyone ignore him again. One afternoon, Rosa saw Amir leaning against a wall near the playground. He seemed pale and weak. She approached him gently and asked if he wanted to sit down. Amir nodded. Rosa led him to a bench and sat with him. "You do not have to be brave alone," Rosa said softly. "Sometimes it is okay to ask for help." Amir looked at her, his eyes wide. No one had ever said that to him. Most people told him to be strong and keep going. But Rosa said he could ask for help. He felt a little lighter. That evening, Rosa spoke again with Ms. Latif, the school nurse. "I am worried about him," Rosa said. "I know he has been quiet, but he is struggling. I think he needs more than a checkup at school." Ms. Latif agreed to call Amir's mother and request a meeting. "We will make sure he is okay," she said. Amir returned home that evening. He was tired but felt a small hope inside him. For the first time, he felt someone noticed him and cared. His mother Farah was busy preparing dinner. She smiled at him but did not ask too many questions. Amir quietly ate his food, thinking about Rosa and how she had sat with him that day. That night, Amir went to bed early. He thought about the next day at school. For the first time in many weeks, he did not feel completely alone. He He had someone who cared. He knew he still had to face his classmates and teachers, but he felt a little braver. Rosa at the cafeteria cleaned her tables after school. She thought about Amir and hoped that the nurse would do something soon. She understood that sometimes children do not speak because they fear not being believed. She promised herself that she would continue watching over him, quietly, until he was safe. The days went on, and Amir slowly began to feel noticed. Even small gestures, like Rosa bringing him a warm drink or giving him a smile, made a difference. Amir realized that someone could care even if others ignored him. Rosa continued to observe him. She wanted to be sure that when the right time came, she could help him in the best way possible. She believed that small actions could make big changes. She also knew that Amir was a kind boy who deserved to be seen, listened to, and cared for. And in that quiet way, the story of Amir began. A story where one small act of kindness might change everything for a boy who had been ignored for too long. The next morning, Amir walked to school feeling slightly better than usual. The air was cool, and the sun was shining through the trees, making patterns on the sidewalk. He carried his books carefully, still feeling tired, but he remembered the kindness Rosa had shown him yesterday. It gave him a small hope that today might be different. Rosa arrived at the cafeteria early as usual. She had already set up the tables and arranged the food neatly. She liked to start her day quietly before the students arrived. When she saw Amir walking toward the cafeteria entrance, she noticed immediately that he was moving more slowly than usual. His back was slightly bent, and his hands trembled as he held his backpack. Rosa's heart felt heavy. She knew she could not ignore him. As Amir reached the cafeteria, Rosa called softly, "Good morning, Amir. How are you today?" Amir looked at her, a little embarrassed, and said quietly, "I am okay." Rosa smiled and nodded. She knew he might not want to talk about his feelings, and that was all right. She gently gestured to a table near the window. "You can sit here if you like," she said. "It is quiet, and you can have your lunch slowly." Amir walked to the table and sat down. Rosa poured him a small glass of milk and placed a plate with warm food in front of him. She watched quietly as he picked up his spoon and began to eat. He ate slowly, sometimes pausing to rest his hands. Rosa did not rush him or ask too many questions. She simply stayed nearby, giving him space while showing that she cared. After a few minutes, she asked gently, "Do you feel dizzy today?" Amir looked at her and nodded slightly. "A little," he admitted. Rosa's brow furrowed with concern. She knew that dizziness could be a sign that something was wrong. She decided that today, she would not wait. She needed to act. After he finished a few bites of food, she asked, "Would you like me to talk to the nurse with you today?" Amir hesitated. He had never been to the nurse for a serious reason before. Most of the time, students only visited the nurse for small scrapes or headaches. But something in Rosa's kind eyes made him trust her. He nodded quietly. Rosa smiled warmly. "Okay, let's go together. You do not have to be afraid." They walked together to the nurse's office. Amir held his bag in front of him, feeling nervous, but Rosa stayed beside him, her presence calm and reassuring. When they reached the office, Nurse Latif looked up from her desk. "Good morning, Rosa and Amir. What brings you here today?" The nurse asked politely. Rosa explained, "I have noticed that Amir has been very tired lately. He sometimes seems dizzy and weak. I wanted to make sure someone checks on him properly." Nurse Latif nodded, giving Amir a gentle smile. "It is good that you came. Let's take a look and see how you are feeling." Amir sat on the chair while the nurse measured his temperature and pulse. She asked him simple questions about his sleep, meals, and energy. Amir answered quietly, telling the truth for the first time. He admitted that he often felt tired, dizzy, and had trouble focusing. Nurse Latif listened carefully. She noted all his symptoms and said kindly, "It is good that you told us. Amir, I think it would be best if we inform your mother and have a doctor examine you. We want to make sure you are healthy and getting enough care." Amir felt a mix of relief and worry. He was relieved that someone finally believed him, but he also worried about what his mother would think. Rosa held his hand briefly and said, "It is okay, Amir. We are only trying to help. Everything will be fine." Later that day, the nurse called Amir's mother. Farah came to the school as quickly as she could. When she arrived, she saw Amir sitting calmly, and Rosa standing nearby with a reassuring smile. Farah hugged Amir tightly. "My son, I did not realize you were feeling so unwell," she said softly. Amir looked down, feeling guilty that he had not told her sooner. Rosa spoke gently to Farah. "I have noticed Amir looking tired and weak for some time. I thought it was important that he be checked. He is very brave, but he needs help." Farah nodded, feeling thankful. "Thank you, Rosa. I did not see this myself, but now I understand. We will make sure Amir gets proper care." The next day Amir went to the clinic with his mother. Rosa had suggested this to the nurse, and the nurse had made an appointment. At the clinic, the doctor listened carefully to Amir's symptoms. He asked questions in a calm voice, making Amir feel safe. The doctor checked Amir thoroughly and explained that Amir had a minor nutrition deficiency and needed better meals and vitamins. He said that with proper care, Amir's energy would return. Farah felt a wave of relief. She had been worried, but now she knew that her son would be okay with the right attention. Amir felt a strange lightness in his heart. For the first time, he realized that there were people who would listen to him. Rosa's simple act of noticing him, sitting with him, and speaking kindly had changed everything back at school. Rosa continued to watch Amir. She made sure he had water and reminded him to take breaks if he felt tired. She noticed small improvements, like the way he held his books more steadily or smiled slightly more often. She did not rush him, but she quietly encouraged him every day. Amir's classmates started noticing small changes in him too. He was not as withdrawn, and sometimes he even joined a few games during recess. Rosa smiled to herself, knowing that Amir was slowly gaining confidence. It was not just about his health. It was about feeling seen and cared for. One afternoon, Amir stayed behind in the cafeteria after lunch. He looked around and saw Rosa cleaning tables. He hesitated for a moment and then said softly, "Thank you for helping me, Rosa." Rosa stopped and smiled warmly. "You do not have to thank me, Amir. I am happy to help. Everyone deserves to be noticed and cared for." Amir felt his heart warm. No one had ever said that to him before. It was a small thing, but it meant a lot. He realized that kindness could change a person's life, even in ways that seemed simple. Over the next few days, Rosa and the nurse continued to monitor Amir. His mother followed the doctor's advice, giving him healthy meals and making sure he rested. Amir's energy slowly returned. He could concentrate in class, and he felt stronger during activities. Amir's life started to change in small but important ways. He smiled more, spoke more confidently, and even shared some of his drawings with his classmates. Rosa continued to encourage him. Never rushing, never judging. Amir learned a valuable lesson about courage. It was not just about being strong. It was about asking for help, trusting others, and accepting kindness. Rosa had taught him that even one person noticing you could make a big difference. By the end of the week, Amir felt more confident than he had in months. He no longer felt invisible. He knew that he had people who cared for him. Rosa had not only helped him with his health, but she had also shown him the power of kindness and attention. The quiet boy who had felt weak and unseen was slowly becoming a boy full of hope and courage. He understood that life was not just about surviving every day, but also about noticing the people around you and allowing them to notice you. And Rosa, with her gentle heart and watchful eyes, continued to be the guiding light for Amir, ensuring that no small warning or silent cry for help would ever be ignored again. After the clinic visit, Amir's life slowly began to change. He followed the doctor's advice carefully. His mother, Farah, prepared healthy meals, ensuring he ate fresh fruits, vegetables, and protein every day. She also reminded him to drink water and take his vitamins. Amir felt stronger and he was able to pay attention in class without feeling dizzy or weak. But the most important change was not physical. Amir felt that someone was finally listening to him. Someone who truly cared at school. Rosa continued to watch over him quietly. She still worked in the cafeteria, serving meals and cleaning tables. But she always kept an eye on Amir. Sometimes she would see him struggling to carry his books or pause to rest. She never rushed him. She only smiled and nodded, letting him know she noticed. Amir began to walk a little taller in the halls. He felt that Rosa's gentle presence gave him confidence. One afternoon, Amir went to the nurse's office for a follow-up checkup. Nurse Latif greeted him warmly. "Good to see you, Amir. How are you feeling today?" Amir smiled faintly. "Better," he said softly. "Thank you." Nurse Latif nodded. "That is good. I can see you are improving." Rosa was nearby, helping another student. She noticed Amir smiling and felt happy. Small changes could make a big difference. She remembered how worried she had felt when she first noticed him looking tired and weak. Now, seeing him gradually regain his strength was a reward in itself. After the checkup, Amir returned to class. His teacher, Mrs. Ahmed, noticed the difference too. "Amir, you seem more energetic today," she said kindly. Amir nodded and tried to smile. He felt a little proud that his efforts were being recognized. During lunch, Amir went to the cafeteria. He sat at his usual table, but this time he did not feel completely alone. A few students came over and asked him about his drawings. He smiled and showed them his notebook. Rosa noticed this from across the room and felt her heart warm. Amir was opening up slowly. He was gaining confidence not just in his health but in his social life too. After lunch, Rosa approached Amir with a small cup of warm milk. "Here, Amir, this is for you," she said gently. Amir looked at her gratefully. "Thank you, Rosa," he said. He realized that her small gestures meant a lot. It was not just the food or the drinks. It was her attention, her willingness to notice him when no one else had. Rosa smiled. "You are welcome, Amir. You are doing very well. Remember, it is okay to ask for help when you need it." Amir nodded. Her words stayed with him throughout the day. He realized that being brave did not mean keeping everything to himself. Being brave also meant trusting others and speaking up when something was wrong. Over the next few days, Amir's improvement continued. He ate well, rested, and gradually regained his energy. He began to participate in class discussions and even joined a few games with his classmates during recess. His friends began to notice the change. They complimented him on his drawings and asked him to share ideas for school projects. Amir felt happier and more included. One morning, Rosa noticed that Amir looked especially excited. He was carrying his sketchbook and showed it to her proudly. "Look, Rosa, I finished a new drawing," he said. Rosa leaned over to see it. The drawing showed a sunny park with children playing and a woman serving food at a small table. Amir had drawn her helping a boy with a gentle smile. Rosa smiled warmly. "This is beautiful, Amir. You captured it very well," she said. Amir's cheeks turned red with happiness. "I wanted to draw you. You helped me when no one else noticed," he said softly. Rosa placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "I only did what anyone should do, Amir, but I am glad it made a difference." Amir realized that her kindness had changed his life. Not only had she helped him get medical care, but she had also shown him that someone truly cared. That care gave him courage and confidence he had never felt before. Meanwhile, Farah, Amir's mother, began to notice her son's improvement too. She watched him finish his meals, concentrate on his schoolwork, and smile more often. She felt relief and gratitude. She had almost missed the signs of his weakness. But thanks to Rosa's care and the nurse's help, Amir was recovering. She realized that even small gestures of attention could make a big difference in a child's life. One afternoon, the school principal called Amir to her office. Amir was nervous at first, but when he entered, he saw Rosa and Nurse Latif smiling at him. "Amir," the principal said kindly, "we have heard about your progress. Everyone is very proud of how well you are doing. We also want to thank Rosa for noticing and helping you when you needed it." Amir felt a mix of pride and happiness. He realized that speaking up, even in a small way, could change everything. Rosa had believed in him when no one else did, and now everyone could see the results. After the meeting, Amir returned to the classroom. He felt lighter and more confident. He understood that kindness and attention could change lives. He began to notice other children too. He helped a friend who had forgotten his homework and shared his drawings with classmates who were feeling shy. Rosa continued to be a steady presence in Amir's life. Every day she offered small gestures of care, a warm drink, a kind word, a smile, or simply a quiet presence that let him feel safe. Amir began to understand that kindness did not have to be grand or loud. Small actions could have a great impact. One evening, as Amir sat in the garden at home, he thought about how his life had changed. A week ago he had felt invisible, weak, and tired. Now he felt strong, seen, and hopeful. He knew it had been Rosa who had started this change. Her attention and care had opened the door to a better life for him. Amir's drawings also began to reflect his new feelings. He drew bright colors, happy faces, and scenes of children helping each other. He wanted to capture the kindness he had experienced and shared with others. At school, Rosa showed his drawings to the cafeteria staff and placed a few on the wall. Other children saw them and began to take notice of Amir in a new way. He was no longer just a quiet boy. He was a boy who had been seen, helped, and who could inspire others through his art and actions. Through all of this, Amir learned an important lesson. It was okay to ask for help, to trust others, and to accept kindness. Rosa had taught him that noticing someone, listening to them, and offering help could change their life completely. By the end of the month, Amir's health had improved greatly. He no longer felt tired or dizzy. He could concentrate on his schoolwork, enjoy his meals, and participate in activities. He smiled more often and began to make friends. Most importantly, Amir had learned the power of attention and care. He understood that sometimes people who seem invisible need just one person to notice them. Rosa had been that person for him, and because of her, his life had changed forever. Amir felt grateful every day. He often sat by the window in the cafeteria, looking at Rosa with a small smile. She never asked for thanks, but Amir wanted her to know how much she meant to him. She had not only helped him recover, but had shown him the value of kindness and care. And in this quiet way, Amir's story continued, a story of hope, trust, and the importance of being seen. Rosa's gentle actions had created a foundation of strength and courage in a boy who had once felt invisible, and Amir knew that he would carry that lesson with him forever. After weeks of care and attention, Amir was feeling much better. He could concentrate in class, play with friends during recess, and enjoy his meals without difficulty. However, Rosa and Nurse Latif both agreed that it was important for Amir to have a thorough medical checkup to ensure his health was fully restored. They wanted to be certain that nothing was overlooked and that Amir could continue to grow strong and happy. Amir was a little nervous as he prepared for the visit to the clinic. He had never spent much time in a doctor's office beyond small checkups, and the idea of tests and examinations made him anxious. His mother Farah noticed his hesitation and gently held his hand. "Do not worry, Amir. The doctor will only help you get stronger. You are safe with me," she said softly. Rosa had also encouraged him. She had told Amir that speaking about his health and allowing adults to help was a brave thing to do. "You are doing something important, Amir. You are taking care of yourself," Rosa had said as she handed him a small drawing he had made for her. When they arrived at the clinic, Amir was greeted warmly by the receptionist. The room smelled of antiseptic and clean air. It was quiet, and the soft colors of the walls made him feel calm. The doctor, a kind woman named Dr. Samira, came to meet them. She smiled at Amir immediately and knelt down to speak to him at eye level. "Hello, Amir," Dr. Samira said kindly. "I hear you have been feeling a little weak lately. I am here to help you get stronger. Can you tell me how you've been feeling every day? Amir felt a little nervous but remembered Rosa's words. He spoke softly but honestly, telling the doctor about his tiredness, occasional dizziness, and difficulty concentrating. Farah added information about his meals, sleep, and daily routine. Dr. Samira listened carefully, nodding and taking notes. She never interrupted or rushed them. After the initial conversation, Dr. Samira performed some simple tests. She checked Amir's pulse, temperature, and reflexes. She asked him to walk slowly across the room and then sit while she examined his eyes and hands. Amir noticed that every action of the doctor was gentle and precise. She explained what she was doing as she went along, which made him feel comfortable and confident. Amir, Dr. Samira said after the tests, I can see that you have been taking care of yourself and following a healthy routine. You are doing very well. But it seems that your body needed some extra vitamins and nutrition to recover fully. With continued care, you will get even stronger and feel even better. Amir felt relief flood through him. For the first time, he understood that all his tiredness and weakness had a reason, and it was something that could be fixed. He felt proud that he had faced his problems and allowed others to help him. The doctor provided a plan for Amir's care. It included a balanced diet, vitamins, and daily habits to maintain good health. She emphasized the importance of rest, hydration, and paying attention to his body when it signaled fatigue. Farah listened carefully, taking notes and asking questions to ensure she could provide the best care for Amir. Amir asked a few questions too. He wanted to understand how he could stay healthy and strong. Dr. Samira explained things in simple words, showing him that he could make small choices every day that would keep his body and mind strong. Amir felt empowered. For the first time, he felt that he could take control of his own health in partnership with adults who cared about him. After the visit, Farah hugged Amir tightly. I am proud of you, my son, she said. You were brave today, and you were learning how to take care of yourself. Amir smiled, feeling happy and confident. He realized that he could trust adults when they offered help and that accepting care was a form of courage, not weakness. Rosa was waiting for Amir and Farah when they returned to school. She had brought a small cup of warm milk for him. Welcome back, Amir, she said with her gentle smile. How did it go? Amir handed her a small drawing he had made during the clinic visit. It showed a boy sitting in a bright room with a kind doctor and a smiling mother. This is for you, Rosa, he said. You helped me feel brave. Rosa placed her hand gently on his shoulder. I am glad, Amir, you have done all the brave work yourself. I only noticed when you needed help. Back in school, Amir felt a renewed sense of confidence. He walked in the hallways with his head held a little higher. He greeted his classmates warmly and even joined a small art activity in the classroom. His teachers noticed the change in him. Mrs. Ahmed smiled when Amir participated and praised him for his efforts. Amir felt that the kindness and care he had received had not only healed his body but also built his confidence and sense of belonging. Amir's friends began to include him more during recess and lunch. They were drawn to his creativity and quiet determination. Amir, in turn, shared his drawings with them and encouraged them in their work. He had learned that kindness could create connections and that noticing others' needs could make a big difference. Rosa continued to be a steady presence. She checked on Amir every day, offering simple gestures of care. Sometimes it was a cup of warm milk. Other times it was a gentle smile or a few words of encouragement. Amir realized that small acts of attention could create trust and comfort. He began to notice other students too, offering help to those who seemed lonely or struggling. One day, Rosa approached Amir and said, You are doing very well, Amir. Remember, you can always ask for help if you need it. That is how we grow stronger together. Amir nodded. I understand, Rosa. I will remember that. Amir's mother, Farah, also noticed the changes. She felt proud of her son's courage and growth. She had learned an important lesson as well. Even when children seem quiet and strong on the outside, they may need attention, understanding, and care. Farah made a promise to herself to be more attentive and patient with Amir, ensuring that he always felt safe and supported at home. As days passed, Amir's health and confidence continued to improve. He was no longer the quiet boy who felt invisible and weak. He had grown stronger, not just in body but in heart and mind. He had learned that kindness, attention, and courage could change everything. Rosa's simple act of noticing him had started a chain of positive changes that would continue for years. Amir even began helping his classmates. He noticed when someone seemed lonely or tired. He offered a smile or shared his art. Rosa and the teachers saw this and felt proud. Amir had learned that care and kindness were powerful tools, and he used them to make the world around him better. One afternoon, Amir sat in the garden at school, thinking about everything that had happened. He felt grateful for Rosa, Nurse Latif, and Dr. Samira. He realized that his life had changed because someone had finally listened. He also understood that he had a responsibility to notice others and help them in return. Rosa noticed him sitting quietly and came over. How are you feeling today, Amir? She asked. I feel strong and happy, Amir replied. I feel like I can do anything now. Rosa smiled. You can, Amir. You have grown very much. Remember, being brave is not about being alone. It is about trusting others and letting kindness guide you. Amir nodded, understanding completely. He knew that the lessons he had learned from Rosa and his doctors would stay with him forever. He had learned that being seen and cared for could change a life, and that he could do the same for others. And in this way, Amir continued his journey. A boy who had once felt invisible had grown into a confident, kind, and strong young person. His story was not only about health but also about courage, trust, and the power of care. Rosa's attention had opened the door to a brighter future, and Amir had stepped through it with hope and joy in his heart. Amir had changed in so many ways. His strength had returned, and he felt lighter and more confident than ever. He no longer struggled to carry his books, focus in class, or keep up with his classmates. The dizziness and weakness that had once clouded his days were gone, but the greatest change was within his heart. Amir had learned the importance of being seen, heard, and cared for. He had also discovered the joy of kindness, both receiving it and sharing it with others at school. Amir walked through the hallways with a sense of pride. He greeted his friends with a smile and sometimes even shared a laugh with the teachers. His classmates began to notice a quiet confidence in him that had never been there before. They saw a boy who could draw amazing pictures, help others, and face challenges without fear. Amir was no longer the boy who hid in the corner of the classroom or ate lunch alone. Rosa still worked in the cafeteria every day, but now she noticed Amir differently. She saw him interacting with other students, offering small acts of kindness, and helping friends with schoolwork. Every time she saw him smile, her heart felt warm. She had helped him find his voice, and now he was using it in a way that inspired others. One morning, Amir entered the cafeteria carrying a small stack of his drawings. He approached Rosa with a nervous but hopeful expression. "Rosa, I want to give these to you," he said softly. Rosa looked at the drawings. Each one showed a happy scene of children playing, studying, or sharing food, with a small figure helping them in each picture. She recognized herself in the drawings, and her heart filled with pride. "These are wonderful, Amir," Rosa said gently. "You have worked very hard, and your drawings show your kindness and care for others." Amir felt shy but proud. "I wanted to show you how much your help meant to me," he said. "You believed in me when no one else did." Rosa smiled warmly. "I am glad, Amir. You have grown so much, and now you can use your strength and heart to help others too." Farah, Amir's mother, watched from a distance. She felt grateful and proud of her son. She had learned many lessons during the past weeks. She understood how important it was to notice small signs and take action before problems grew. She had also realized that kindness and attention could change a child's life completely. She held Amir's hand as he showed her the drawings. "These are beautiful, my son," she said softly. "I am proud of you and your heart." Amir continued to grow in confidence and happiness. He started participating in classroom activities and even volunteered to help younger students with reading and art projects. His classmates, who had once ignored him, now sought his guidance and admired his skills. Amir had learned that when someone notices you, supports you, and believes in you, it gives you the courage to become the best version of yourself. Rosa continued her quiet watch over Amir. She never demanded thanks or attention, but she felt proud to see the boy she had first noticed thriving. Her small acts of care, bringing warm drinks, noticing his struggles, and speaking kind words had created a ripple effect. Amir's life had changed, and he was spreading kindness to others in return. One afternoon, the school decided to hold an art display to celebrate students' work. Amir carefully selected his drawings, including the ones he had given to Rosa, and placed them on the display board. He added a small note under each piece, explaining the story behind it. Rosa came to see the display and noticed her presence in several of Amir's drawings. She smiled and whispered to herself, "He has truly grown." Many students and teachers came to see the display. They admired Amir's creativity, his attention to detail, and the thoughtful stories behind each drawing. Some students asked him to explain the meaning of his pictures. Amir spoke confidently, telling them about the importance of noticing others, offering help, and sharing kindness. Even the principal visited the display. She read Amir's notes and looked at the drawings. "Amir," she said warmly, "these are wonderful. You have a gift not only in your art but also in your heart. You have learned lessons that all of us can follow." Amir smiled. He realized that the lessons he had learned were not just for him. He could share them with others and inspire them to be kind, caring, and attentive to those around them. After the display, Amir returned to the cafeteria where Rosa was cleaning tables. He handed her another drawing he had just completed. This one showed a school full of children helping each other with a small figure at the center, guiding and caring for everyone. Rosa looked at the drawing and felt tears of pride in her eyes. "You have a very special heart, Amir," she said. "I am proud of everything you have done. You are not only strong and healthy but also kind and thoughtful. That is something very rare." Amir smiled and nodded. "I learned from you, Rosa. You helped me believe in myself." From that day on, Amir continued to thrive. His health remained strong, and his confidence grew. He became a source of inspiration for other students who might have been shy, quiet, or struggling. He encouraged them, shared his drawings, and reminded them that it was okay to ask for help when needed. Farah also learned to trust her instincts and pay closer attention to Amir. She celebrated his successes and helped him with his studies and supported his passions. She realized that being a parent meant noticing small signs, listening carefully, and offering guidance with patience and love. Rosa continued her work at the cafeteria, but she also enjoyed watching Amir grow into a confident and kind young boy. She knew that noticing someone and taking the time to care could change her life forever. She felt proud that she had played a small part in helping Amir find his strength, confidence, and joy. One sunny afternoon, Amir sat in the school garden, drawing a new picture. He smiled as he thought about all that had happened. He realized that life was full of challenges, but when someone noticed you, cared for you, and believed in you, those challenges could be overcome. Rosa came to the garden and looked at his drawing. "You are growing so much, Amir," she said kindly. "Keep using your heart and your talents to help others." Amir looked at her and said, "I will, Rosa. I will always remember how you helped me, and I want to help others just like you helped me." Rosa smiled and nodded. "That is wonderful. Amir, you are ready to shine and make the world a little brighter for others." Amir understood then that his journey was not only about getting stronger or healthy. It was about learning courage, kindness, and the power of care. He had learned that one person noticing you could change everything. Rosa's attention, Nurse Latif's guidance, his mother's love, and the doctor's care had given him not only health but also the tools to grow into a confident, kind, and thoughtful young boy. From that day forward, Amir continued to grow, share, and inspire. He drew beautiful pictures, helped his friends, and spread kindness wherever he went. He remembered the quiet moments when someone finally noticed him, and realized that small acts of care could create a lifetime of change. And Rosa, who had simply done what any caring person would do, continued her quiet work, knowing that her small act had changed a life forever. Amir's story became a shining example of hope, courage, and the power of kindness. A boy who had once been invisible now stood strong, confident, and ready to make the world a better place for everyone. Around him, Amir smiled as he packed his art supplies and walked home with his mother. He looked forward to each new day, ready to face it with courage, kindness, and a heart full of hope.